They divide and then divide. They divide and conquer once, and then they divide and conquer again. Over and over and over again. And we can, as a result, we can't even so much as stop one of their lies. Slow down one of their narratives. Stop them from making their lie trend, their half-truth trend. We can't even get them to stop it from trending. We're not even able to get them to stop their lies from becoming policy. By the time their lie has become policy, we're just realizing that it was a lie the whole time. That's it, Tracy Eva. It's spiritual wickedness in high places. Well, folks, go join over at the Truth Farmer Collective. Truth Farmer Collective. We are going to try. That's all we can promise you. We're going to try, and we're going to try to do it together. Do what? We're going to try to stop at least one lie, and we're going to try to set at least one narrative, because if we could do it once, we can do it again. That said, I need everybody who's streaming on my channel over there on my YouTube channel. Please do me a favor. Come over here, like and share and subscribe over at This Space YouTube's channel. And stay tuned for my brother from another mother, none other than the Angry Ginger. He's up next.
The Benjamin Dixon Show was only possible with listener support. Go to patreon.com/the BPD Show and support the Benjamin Dixon Show.
What's happening, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. My PC just reset, so things got a little hectic. What's going on, guys? All right, let's get back to where I was. We've got some things to talk about today. Nothing quite as crazy as what passed. Well, I don't know. I have to tell you the truth. Everything's kind of crazy. I was going to say not as crazy as what Pastor Benjamin was talking about with that Roblox stuff. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So we've got a couple different things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the lockdowns. We're going to talk about the deposition from I believe it was the Bill Maher case with Laura Loomer. That's right. And we're going to talk a little bit about Benny Johnson. We've got a video about J.B. Pritzker talking about Trump, talking about Chicago. I mean, there's always a million things to talk about nowadays. So there's plenty to talk about. We're going to get right into it. Let me get this over here for you guys so we can talk about this Laura Loomer article in which she says Marjorie Taylor Greene's got Arbys in her pants. It's pretty amazing stuff. Let's see. There you go. At least this computer's working. I think it's too hot for my computer. There you go. Boom. All right. So we've got Laura Loomer's defamation deposition will make your head explode. And oh, will it. If you guys haven't seen this, somebody brought this up to me last night, and I was absolutely losing it. So here, let's just pop in here. Just go and pull this up all the way here. Laura Loomer's deposition against HBO late-night host Bill Maher has offered absurd new insights into the woman unofficially tasked with federal staffing decisions. The self-appointed loyalty enforcer has had enormous success influencing the Trump administration from the safety of her X account. An analysis by the Daily Beast found that at least 16 individuals were fired from the federal government after Loomer singled them out as covert Democratic agents. Oh, my God. But more than 200 pages of Loomer's transcribed deposition in her defamation lawsuit against Maher shed light on the influencer's beliefs and prerogatives and illustrate her as a raving conspiracist rather than a fine-tuned firing machine. And that's not news to anybody. Not anybody that knows anything about Laura Loomer. We all knew she was a raving conspiracy theorist loon. That's not new. That's not new. But let's see. It goes on to say, in sprawling answers to completely unrelated questions, Loomer's rants about George Stephanopoulos, her lack of boyfriends, and her inability to get a White House press credential in an interview that quickly flies off the handle. In one particularly wild exchange, Loomer practically roasted Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene as someone who puts roast beef in her pants. I can't laugh without I can't read this and not laugh. What is your basis for saying she puts Arby in her pants? Maher's legal counsel asked. She carries roast beef in her pockets, Loomer responded. What is your basis for saying she puts roast beef in her pockets and in her pants? The counsel pressed. Because I know she likes to eat at Arbys, Loomer said, further clarifying that she believes Greene puts the meat sandwiches in her pants and that she believed Greene would agree with that statement. Just the added in, she would agree with that statement. I'm not sure Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene says a lot of wild shit. I don't know if she would agree with that statement. I am pretty sure. I am 100% sure Laura Loomer is saying she's loose down below. But to hear this is in a court of law. This is during a defamation case. Guys. This is a defamation case against Bill Maher. I don't know why she's talking about this. But it gets better, guys. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Are you making a derogatory comment about her sex life by talking about Arbys in her pants? The counsel asked. No, I'm talking about Arbys, the sandwiches. I'm talking about Arbys. I'm a very direct person, Loomer said. If I was making a derogatory comment, I would have said it. Immediately after the Arbys exchange, Loomer offered another gem without provocation. She believed Senator Lindsey Graham is gay. Several of President Trump's staff have told me in confidence that Lindsey Graham is gay, Loomer said. Hold on, Miss Loomer. There's no question, responded Maher's attorney. Oh, man. It's kind of amazing. She's at a defamation trial, guys. She is suing Bill Maher for saying that she may have slept with Donald Trump. That's what this whole thing is about. The whole thing is saying that Laura Loomer had slept with Donald Trump and she is suing for defamation. But here we go. We're going to get better here. It gets better. It gets better. Oh, man. Oh, man. So she goes on to start talking about Bill Maher at this point, right? And there's some insinuations about Graham's sexuality. In September, Loomer on the X platform wrote, when is Lindsey coming out of the closet? We all know you're gay, Lindsey, and that's okay. She went on to write, there's no reason why Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, needs to hide the fact that he's a gay man. Come on, Lindsey. I like men too. Don't clip that. Go ahead and clip that. No need to hide. I want you to relieve yourself of your toxic, closeted anger. It's 2024. Nobody needs to hide that. They're gay anymore. Oh, sorry. No one needs to hide that they're gay anymore. She defended those remarks to Bulger, who raised the exchange. She said, I called him gay. It's well known. Several of President Trump's staff have told me in confidence that Lindsey Graham is gay. Further, she said, a number of people in Republican circles told me that they've attended dinners where he's brought male significant individuals with him, like significant others. I will say that he never denied being gay after I said that, she said. Vulgar stressed she did not ask for Loomer to explain the accusation, and Loomer's own attorney, Larry Klayman, objected to the topic being further discussed. Like Laura Loomer's own lawyer, while Laura Loomer is talking, is like, I object! I object! I would like her to stop, please. Please stop. Please stop. Oh, but there's more. Oh, but there's more, guys. Oh, dude. This is fucking, like I said, Idiocracy did not do justice to this insanity. It did not do a good enough job. Okay. So after the lawyer has objected to her talking, which is appropriate, Bulger also raised a similar attack by Loomer on Imhoff, Vice President Kamala Harris's husband, this one more focused on his masculinity. Weeks before the election, Loomer posted, "If you call yourself second gentleman, you're just gay. Men aren't supposed to be second to women. It's called biological hierarchy, and we should respect it. There's a reason why she tells him to answer your effing phone. She has no respect for him because he's lowered himself into being a loser." Asked if Loomer had any reason to think Imhoff was gay, she clarified she did not mean he was a homosexual. Gay can mean either homosexual, or it can also just mean, like, you're, like, weak, you know? It's, like, also used as a term to describe, like, weak men. It is, so it's like and I do believe that he's a weak man, Loomer said. You know, I'm on X. Only because of Benjamin Dixon, to be honest with you. I tried to get off of X. Sounds like I'm addicted to drugs. I tried to get off of X, and then Benjamin Dixon told me to stop being a coward and get back on there and to fight with people. I don't fight with people as much, but every once in a while I just repost something Benjamin Dixon said. She went on to say Marr would not understand respect in a relationship because he hasn't been married. The Loomer also is not married. She said in the deposition that she had a boyfriend for a year. The Florida-based Loomer also discussed her ejection from the Pulse trial, where prosecutors unsuccessfully sought a criminal conviction against the wife of dead shooter Omar Mateen, who killed 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando in 2016. Loomer's press credentials were revoked shortly after she followed the family of Noor Salman into the parking lot after her questions incited a sudden end to a press conference. But she recalled the event differently. I, during the press conference, asked the family members of the terrorists whether or not they condemned jihad, and the family was being represented by CARE, which is the group that lobbied Twitter to ban me, she said. They've been designated as an Islamic terrorist organization in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. She went on to further criticize CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, a D.C.-based nonprofit that advocates for Muslim civil rights. She also suggested that Salman should not have beaten the charges. I want to remind you guys. That this is a defamation trial against Bill Maher. This has nothing to do with Laura Loomer's personal life. And she just can't help herself. It's fucking diarrhea of the mouth. She can't help herself, guys. This is beyond amazing. It's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just a cell phone, right? It's just a cell phone. Levon. What's up, Levon? If it's experimental, it's not gay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I do believe Loomer is Jewish, Shade Dragon. I believe that's true. I could be wrong about that, though. I do believe there's one more thing that I wanted to go in on here. God, I don't know if I should say that in that manner. There was one more here. There's one more. The MAGA firebrand, whose influence on President Donald Trump is growing, was pressed in her deposition about insults she made regarding the genitals of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kamala Harris. Her claim that the senator is secretly gay, Lindsey Graham, became public when the deposition was briefly available on a court docket before being sealed. When asked about why she said it, Laura Loomer said, "I was under oath. I couldn't lie." Oh, dude. Two other vile comments she made came back to haunt her in the deposition. Loomer, 32, said that last year that Harris was then the vice president, had an infested snatch. I don't know what to say about this timeline other than that it's the dumbest timeline. Loomer claimed that Maher's remark about her sleeping with Trump, which was a widespread rumor at the time, kept her from landing a job in the White House and thus from profiting from the experience she would have received in the role. As we all know that getting a role in Donald Trump's government is very lucrative. You make a lot of meme coin money off of that. Lindsey Graham also called you toxic around the time you were at the debate, and yeah, right? Yeah, that's true. Okay, and you responded to him on Twitter, right? Yeah, I called him gay. Okay. Can you might mark this as exhibit? It's well known. Can we mark this as exhibit whatever we're at? 31. Oh my God. It's well known, Loomer said of Graham's sexuality. Bulger tried to move on, saying, "Hold on, Miss Loomer, there's no question." Loomer responded, "I know, I'm just explaining." I don't. What do you say to this? This is a quote from Lindsey Graham back in 2010, guys. This is a quote from Lindsey Graham in 2010. "I know it's really going to upset a lot of gay men. I'm sure hundreds of them are going to be jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. But I ain't available. I ain't gay. Sorry." That's my Lindsey Graham. It's the best I can do right now. I can only really do Lindsey Graham if I'm channeling the Brett Kavanaugh trial. "I am so sorry for the way that you are being treated, sir. The way that you and your family, sir, are being treated right now. It's an absolute tragedy." And to be honest, it's pretty dramatic. I mean, I understand. It just, Arbys sells roast beef. It's just an expression. It's just an expression. What do you say to that? This is real life, guys. This is real life. I just want you guys to understand that this is what we're going through right now. This is what they voted for. You want to see a video of this shit show? I don't know if it... I don't think it was even supposed to be released. I don't think the documents were supposed to be released. I think they got unintentionally unsealed or published before they were sealed or whatever. But good Lord. This administration is a fucking circus. You know, you elect a clown, you get a circus. What's that saying? It's like a Arab proverb or something. It's like, if you put a clown in a palace, it's not a palace anymore, it's a circus now. Like, that's where we're at. We're about to have UFC fights on the front lawn. The president of the United States is legitimately protecting elite PDF files from being prosecuted because his name is all over those files. Like, it's absolutely insane that this is like the world that we live in right now. And there's a bunch of people that are like, just hear me out, though. Just hear me out. What if he's not in the files? I don't want to say we've got the meats, Hermit. I just said it, though. I don't want to say it because it brings to mind a certain picture of one Marjorie Taylor Greene's nether regions. All right? Does she think she's on South Park? Dee Dee. Good call, Dee Dee. Oh, Jesus Christ. What do you say to all of this? What am I supposed to say to any of this other than this shit is like batshit crazy? This is a lady that has Donald Trump's ear. This is a woman that helped to get 16 people removed from Trump's administration. I've been leaving that "we've got the meats" comment up there for a little too long. I'm pretty sure MTG is a biological Neanderthal. She's got the fucking face structure for it. No doubt. Oh, I forgot I have coffee, guys. I've been drinking sparkling water. I have coffee. My coffee's cold now. Oh, Pinkerbell. Trump is leaning into how white trash he is. Yes. Yes. He is definitely, it's full bore right now. It's full bore. Okay, I just had to share that with you guys before we get into the real serious stuff. You can't really cover serious stuff and then do that. I don't know if you can follow anything with that story. But we're going to try. We're going to try. So obviously we've got Pickleballs getting his ass whooped in the affluent area of DC where people make 120 grand in what they claim is a attempted carjacking that they at first said was actually Pickleballs trying to get up in the middle and defend a woman who was being accosted by black people. Guys, it's a White Fright 2025 edition. Of course, his friend just happened to be around. The racist kid that got fired from the administration the first time just happened to be around to take pictures of Pickleballs laying on the ground with a bloody nose. So we've got a couple videos that we're going to talk about because Donald Trump, of course, has now since Friday been pushing federal agents into Washington, D.C., and is, now limit testing how far he can go before somebody does something about him being an authoritarian dictator. So that's where we're at. And, of course, we've heard about the fact that he wants to do it in other places as well. And I've got a video for you here of one J.B. Pritzker. If my son is up there messing with my computer, don't do it. Don't do it, bro. You're probably the one that reset it the first time. I know about you. Don't do it. So I got a video from J.B. Pritzker here reacting to Donald Trump saying that he's going to use the same thing he's doing in D.C. in Chicago. So I wanted to see J.B. Pritzker here talking about that. And yeah, let's see what he has to say about this because, like I said, this is obvious limit testing on Trump's part.
Describing Chicago as a disaster. This is obviously the context of what he wants to do in Washington. He then insulted you and Mayor Johnson, Mayor Grant Johnson.
I like how he laughs when the guy says he insulted you and then Mayor Johnson, and he just like laughs. He's like, of course he did. I wish I could turn up the reporter, but the reporter's a little bit low.
He also talked about you being a possible presidential contender. For example, he said, lost weight.
It's true, Pinkerbell. It's true.
You're considered running for president. I guess number one, can you do anything to defend what President Trump's saying about bringing the National Guard to Chicago?
Like everything somebody tells you that Donald Trump said about you, all you can do is just sit there and laugh. You're just like, it's absurd. What the fuck do you want me to say about this?
What's your reaction to everything else that the president said?
Well, first of all, let's start with there is even you're laughing. I agree.
What are you supposed to do?
No, I know. No commentary on your part. Let's start with there is a law on the books confirmed by the Constitution called posse comitatus. And it means that the federal government does not have a right to send.
Yeah, you're not allowed to send federal troops into states as a police force.
Soldiers into American cities for the purpose of, well, for any purpose really.
Federal soldiers, yeah.
But specifically to
It's a violation
fight
of
crime,
states'
let's
rights.
say. And
by the way, this is the party that was like howling for like 4 years about states' rights. But MAGA being hypocrites is just it's par for the course, right? Like at no point do these people actually believe any of the shit that they believed like 8 months ago.
That is what he's suggesting that he will do, violate that law. It's not surprising to me that he suggests violating the law. He's done it many times and been convicted of it 34 times.
Nice.
And so I would just say he has absolutely no right and no legal ability to send troops in to the city of Chicago. And so I reject that notion. As to everything else that he had to say this morning, I guess I should say thank you for the compliment. And
dude, Pritzker's actually doing a really good job nowadays. I mean, a couple people, I didn't know a lot about Pritzker other than the fact that his family owns the Hyatt. I stand on the fact that being a billionaire is immoral. I don't see any real value in hoarding those types of resources. I still think that his family obviously does not create, in my opinion, atmosphere for progressive politics. But I will say he's been doing a great job of talking about things. The fact that he offered the Texas Democrats an ability to stay in Illinois and not be extradited from there. I gotta applaud that. Same thing goes for Newsom in California. I had a lot of smoke for Newsom when he was, doing fucking podcasts with Bannon and Charlie Kirk and attempting to like reach out to these like MAGA Republican, content creators. But I have to give it to both of them. Gavin Newsom's recent post where he mocks Donald Trump's all caps attention to this matter tweets. You gotta say it's actually very effective messaging. And one of the things that I shit on the left constantly for is their inability to message correctly in this day and age. And I do have to give props where props are due. Pritzker, he's getting the chuckles, and Newsom is definitely getting under Donald Trump's skin. We'll watch a video of that in just a little bit.
And you have to remember that I reject criticism and don't really want to respond to criticism from Donald Trump, who inherited his money and then went bankrupt 6 times and then defrauded his business partners. And by the way, he cheats at golf too.
Nice.
So, look, I
see, that's what I'm saying. There was something to Biden's effectiveness against Trump in that first debate, the 2020 debates, because of the fact that he would just kind of just say almost dry humor, off the cuff remarks. And Trump's such a blowhard that he would say so many things and toss out so many insults that they almost lost effectiveness when Biden would just drop one. And this is the way to do it, right? To get under Trump's skin, the way you do it is you say things like he cheats at golf. Because that's either going to be in a Truth Social post tonight at 4 a.m. where he claims J.B. Pritzker doesn't even know how to play golf, never even seen him on a course, can't hit a ball, probably a terrible golfer. I'm the best. I've won all the tournaments. I'm totally not Kim Jong-un. Totally not.
Believe that, I have had a successful business career. I know that. And I chose to run for governor because I believed that our state was headed in the wrong direction. And we have righted the ship. We have a lot more work to do, but we've done a whole lot to make sure that we're keeping people safe and improving people's income levels and attracting business to the state. And by the way, we've balanced the budget 7 times in a row, and we've raised the minimum wage.
Dude, it's so weird to listen to a person speak competently after spending so much time watching Donald Trump videos. It really is. It's super strange to sit here and listen to a person talk normal. It almost feels like something is wrong. Like to sit here and hear a guy talk about balancing the budget 7 times, improving the living wage, talking about how there's more work to be done and how we need to make sure that people in that state are making more money and have better lives. Like, it's weird to hear a guy just like lay these things out in this way when you're used to listening to Donald Trump speeches where he weaves incoherently and rambles about like the weirdest shit.
And we have a whole lot more work to do, no doubt about it. But I think my intentions are clear. And unlike the president, I'm not trying to make money off of my public position.
You were asked in that meeting, the press interview yesterday that there, about whether you're ruling in or ruling out a bid for the presidency. You said, quote, no matter what decisions I make, and I mean in particular about what I do here in the state of Illinois, it's about the people that
Latino.
Yeah.
You're cracking me up, dude.
Where exactly do the people you are asking to elect you to a term fit in?
Exactly. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
The only decision that I have made is the decision to run for re-election as governor. That's the decision that I've made about my political future. Frankly, I love the job that I have now. I'm working very hard at it. I want to continue to work hard at it. I hope that I get remembered someday for having done good things for the state of Illinois, and I want to follow the course of the things that we've already put in place and many things that we still need to do. And so I love the state of Illinois, and my comments about anything else really were that I am guided to a large degree in almost everything I do in my life about what I think is best for the people of the state of Illinois. And I'm going to
Imagine having politicians like this and picking Trump. It's fucking insane.
continue to be guided by that. Yeah.
I like the purple tie too, Tinkerbell.
Sarah.
I like that purple tie as well. I was just thinking, he kind of matches the background there. Also, purple and gray.
Yeah.
King's colors.
Yep. I'm sorry, what if he tries to do it? Yeah. Yeah, well, you've seen that he doesn't follow the law. I mean, we all know that. He sent National Guard troops into Los Angeles illegally. That is now being litigated in court. You know, he's lost already in court over that issue, but it's continuing to be litigated. I think today or tomorrow that trial will begin. It's a 3-day trial over that issue. So, you know, what I can say is that it's clear to me and to most legal experts that he just does not have the right or ability to do it. Having said that, I've said from the very beginning, I mean, the man was first elected. I have talked about the fact that the Nazis in Germany in the 30s.
Uh-oh, MAGA's going to freak out. He's calling him Hitler. They're calling us Nazis again, guys. Yeah, if you do Nazi shit, people are going to call you Nazis. That's kind of the way that things work. Like, if you are, like, stealing shit from a store, people are going to be like, wow, that's things that thieves do. If fucking you're jogging down the street, people are like, wow, that's a jogger. That's a jogger right there, jogging down the street. If you do Nazi shit, people are going to be like, they seem like Nazis.
Tore down a constitutional republic in just 53 days. It does not take much, frankly, and we have a president who seems hell-bent on doing just that.
Jesus Christ.
You can see the variety of things that we yeah, it's one thing I love about the job, yeah. Look, I'm a Bears fan. I'd like the Bears to stay in the city of Chicago if they could. They're a private business. They can choose to do what they like with their business.
Wait, are the Bears leaving? That'd be crazy. That would be pretty crazy. If the Bears leave Chicago, that would be pretty crazy.
I do not think that the taxpayers of the state of Illinois should be propping up what now is an $8.5 billion valued business.
Very nice. I like hearing that. You know, I'm an A's fan, and I hate the Oakland A's ownership. One of the reasons that I hate the Oakland A's ownership is because Wolf refuses refuses to pay a fair share of any type of new stadium, and that's why now they're moving to Vegas. And it's kind of insane to see these extremely wealthy people once again trying to force middle-class Americans to foot the bill. Like, you already make a fuck ton of money off of these sports teams, off of their merchandise, off of the advertising on the stadiums. And you still need more money from the middle class? You need more taxes from the middle class? It's actually really good to hear him saying that right there. I like that.
They seem to be doing okay for themselves. And I just
Exactly.
don't think,
I agree with this right here.
obviously all of us, we build roads for everybody, no matter who you are. We support business coming to or staying in the state of Illinois. But that's not something that the state of Illinois government needs to do for the Chicago Bears. They're already here. I don't think
Sounds
they
good.
want to leave the state of Illinois. And again, I'd rather they stayed in the city of Chicago, but if they choose to moving to Arlington Heights, that's
Okay, they're talking about moving the stadium to a different place. Okay.
their choice, and I'm going to, support their right to do that.
Specifically on that bill,
Yeah.
property tax bill, that hasn't go anywhere.
I understand what you're talking about, and I would just say that there's a bill, it applies to much more than just the Chicago Bears. So that it isn't about the Chicago Bears. There are a whole lot of places where there can be benefit to the pilot bill. And so, we're going to evaluate what the costs are for the people of Illinois to do this, the benefits that come from attracting businesses as a result of providing that ability to use those tax dollars. Again, they're sort of designed.
Levon, when is Mississippi getting a pro team? Dude. I don't think that's happening, bro. The people of Mississippi, okay? The people of Mississippi, I don't think they need to be taxed anymore. It's not going great.
Just so you know, these programs like that and like the Star Bond program, if you know what that is, are designed to take property in areas where there isn't any sales tax at all, because there's nothing in those properties or on those properties, and to use those sales taxes that would come and will come as a result of the development to support the creation of the development, because the long-term benefit to the people of Illinois is there. And so, again, it's not always appropriate. We're still evaluating the legislation that you're talking about, but yes, it's something we're considering.
It's just so strange to hear a person actually talk, like just normal fucking speech. I think it's really great what Pritzker's done so far. I like the way, like I said, that he has backed up those Democrats that have, took off from Texas to stop quorum. I really appreciate that some people are doing things to stand up in this government, because it does seem like there's too many silent Democrats or Democrats that just aren't doing enough to make a difference against this Trump administration. I mean, there's a lot of strongly worded letters being sent Donald Trump's way, and I don't know if Democrats have figured this out or not, but Donald Trump doesn't read. There's a bunch of letters headed his way that are going to find their way right into a wastebasket. Do you really think Donald Trump is busting out the letter opener, sitting down behind the desk, getting himself a fucking Diet Coke by pressing the red button, and then just reading his fan mail from Gavin Newsom or from congressmen in New York? No. Donald Trump is literally, he's like Gavin Newsom, throw it in the trash. But speaking of Gavin Newsom, I do have a video here from him as well. I guess Mississippi does have a couple sports teams, but they're not professional, right? I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong, guys. I don't know much about Mississippi sports, to be honest with you. I don't know much about Mississippi, to be honest with you. Let's see. Let's get... we've got a Gavin Newsom here. Gavin Newsom just had a talk about the redistricting, right? And talking about, obviously, what's going on in Texas, where you have the attempt at 5 new seats. Gavin Newsom just recently made fun of Ted Cruz's math because in Ted Cruz's world, 43 plus 9 is 51. Good Texas math, guys, that educational system. 43 plus 9, 51, guys. It's amazing. So anyways, yeah, there's a good video here that I want to watch with you guys of Gavin Newsom talking about Donald Trump poking the bear. And like I said, a lot of what Gavin Newsom is doing right now is actually pretty based. He's doing a good job. I've said this before, if Newsom comes out of this, there's a lot of people, in my opinion, that I'd much rather have as a political candidate. That's just my opinion based off of values and things that I think that I think there's better people. But if you're just talking about potential of winning, you know, Gavin Newsom, if he comes out of this looking like a strong figure against Trump, he probably has a pretty good chance of winning the primaries and possibly either beating out Trump in a third term or J.D. Vance if J.D. Vance runs instead. There will actually be Republican primaries next election if Trump doesn't run for a third term. So that will be interesting as well to see that shit show. The primaries last year were kind of amazing, to be honest with you, and I'm kind of looking forward to Republican primaries again because it is a shit show. So I want to watch this video. It's Newsom hosting his Liberation Day event. I thought we already had Liberation Day. Didn't we already? Wasn't that the tariff day? Wasn't it April 2nd or 9th or something like that, Liberation Day? You can't just keep reusing names. I mean, you can with MAGA because MAGA does not remember what happened last week. So I guess we're reusing Liberation Day. But this is a video of Gavin Newsom talking about Donald Trump having poked the bear.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for being here.
He does have televangelist vibe. I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you. Thank all of you in the spirit of that African proverb.
It's got a little bit of a Kamala Harris vibe, you know? There's definitely, you know, there's a big difference between Trump rallies and people that are actually, you know, not filled with anger and hate, people that actually want to, like, do good things. There is definitely a different vibe.
That Senator Padilla was referencing. You want to go fast,
Yeah, I
go
kind of
alone.
agree with
You
that,
want to go
Michael.
far, go together.
I appreciate that.
And I look back at this audience, and I look at all of you united in this cause. And I'm reminded where we are at this precious moment in time. We are in Los Angeles. The most diverse city.
The one thing I have to say is Newsom really does, like, stand on business for California, right? Like, he does have pride in California. And that's something that, like, the left has a really hard time with because a lot of times it comes off as being disingenuous or, you know, dishonest, or they don't want to be too cocky. They don't want to overplay their hand. They don't want to say, you know, my state's better than your state, whatever. But Newsom has been doing a very good job on X of kind of, you know, showing pride in being a Californian. And as a person that's been a lifelong Californian, I have, you know, dealt with just, you know, decades worth of people crying about California. I love California. I wouldn't really want to live anywhere else in the country. I love being here. You know, and unless I'm going to move to Canada, I doubt I'll ever live in another state. I really enjoy it in this state. I enjoy the social safety nets. I'm here because of those social safety nets. I don't mind paying the higher taxes because I know they go to good things. Obviously, there's always, you know, fraud or waste in the government, and obviously that could get better. But up until COVID, California actually had a budget surplus, and the reason that we have a budget deficit now in California is because we took care of people during COVID. And so, the way I look at things is that at least as far as being someone who is representing the state, he does seem to have a lot of pride for the state, and I do appreciate that.
Most diverse county in the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. And I've long believed that the world looks to us, to all of you, to see that it's possible to live together and advance together and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. What makes LA great, what makes California great, and what makes the United States of America great is that at our best, we don't tolerate our diversity, we celebrate our diversity. And it's a point of pride because we're all in this together. Where are we? At Democracy Center. And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but literally they sent ICE agents to stand outside of Newsom's press conference. This is really, it's boiling down to California versus Donald Trump. And that's no shade on New York. I think New York is also involved in that fight. But I think on the big stage right now, it's California versus Donald Trump. And we kind of knew that was what was going to happen when you look at abortion rights, when you look at progressive agenda. Like I said, New York really, really does a good job as well. But one of the reasons people hate California is because progressive agenda starts in California. We show that it works in California, and then it slowly spreads across the country, and people hate that shit, even though they benefit from the financial, economical benefits. Places like Georgia that now have huge solar panel companies, huge lithium battery warehouses, manufacturers, all due to Joe Biden's Infrastructure Act and his Inflation Reduction Act. They asked Joe Biden, they said, how do you feel about the fact that red states are benefiting so much from, these acts? And he said, they fucking need it. It's fine. That's good. That's the whole point. But it does feel a lot like right now, when conservatives talk shit about California, it's out of jealousy. It is out of jealousy. Because they know that California is now the fourth largest economy in the world. The fourth largest, and might be the third largest soon. They want California. But just like a woman that doesn't want one of these conservatives, when that woman says, oh, I'm not interested, they go, oh, I never wanted her. She's ugly anyways. You know what? She would be lucky if I even paid any attention to her at all. It's the same abusive relationship. Donald Trump knows that California is the crown jewel. It's economically the most successful state in the union. It's as far as, what type of environment you have everything from the beautiful beaches in Southern California to the beautiful mountains and forests in Northern California. You have amazing lakes like Tahoe. You have great national forests like the redwoods. You can ski here. You can tons of water sports here. You can go to the beach. There's so much here in California, and constantly what people want to say is, "Oh, it's such a shit state. There's homeless everywhere." The thing is when you have 30 plus million people in a country, in a state, you're going to have homeless people. That's going to happen. And when you attempt to take care of those homeless people, and I'm not saying that we're doing it right, there is a lot of work to be done. There are different ways that should be tried. But when you're trying to help those people rather than just take them off the street using federal soldiers and then force them into either internment camps or mental health institutions, yeah, you're going to have some homeless people. And I'm not saying, like I said, that California does it all right. I think that there are more things that California could do better when it comes to the homeless population. But when you compare it to what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, that's a whole fucking different story. I will take 1 million Californias over what is going on in one Washington, D.C. today.
Donald Trump, you think it's coincidental? No. Donald Trump and his minions, Tom Homan, tough guy, clearly decided.
Yeah, remember when Tom Homan said he was going to arrest Gavin Newsom? That never happened. Never happened.
Coincidentally or not, that this was a location to advance ICE arrests. Indiscriminate? Perhaps. We'll find out later. It was certainly indiscriminate when a 15-year-old disabled boy
we just
had a
covered this
gun
last
put
night.
to his head in Los Angeles trying to go to school just a few days ago. I met with it. I don't need to belabor this, except I want to level set. People are scared. People are fearful. You had a United States senator that was thrown down to the ground in a federal building. Alex Padilla. J.D. Vance's name is Alex Padilla, not Jose Padilla.
You know he did that shit on purpose, though.
That's the Vice President of the United States. It's another museum not so far away from us. Talks about those 53 days. Some of you know what I'm referring to. Wake up, America. This is a serious moment. Wake up to what's going on. Wake up to the fear, the anxiety. Wake up to what's happening, not just here in Los Angeles, where we saw our streets militarized. We saw due process rights thrown out the window. You heard the word disappeared. I was with a 12-year-old boy born in Oxnard, California, whose mother and father were disappeared. 20 years going to the same packing facility every single day. He didn't even know how to get back into his own home, into his own house. Had no brothers and sisters.
That's
He
crazy.
has now disappeared in an attempt to find his parents. That's Trump's America. That's the moment we're living in. So these are sober times. And so I'm deeply grateful to all of you for standing up and for being here today. I'm grateful for all the elected officials that are here, members of Congress, not just our 2 U.S. senators, to members of the California legislature for having the courage of their convictions, for standing tall and standing firm, to recognize today is Liberation Day in the state of California. And as Senator Schiff said...
Okay, hold on. Gavin Newsom, you can't reuse the name. Are we taking it back? Are we taking it back? Oh, dude. Oh, you guys are killing me. Oh, no, dude. Oh, God, you guys are killing me today. Yeah, come on, Gavin Newsom. You can't just reuse Liberation Day. Like, at least call it Liberation Part 2 or something like that.
As Senator Schiff said, Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back. Here's the good thing about California, folks. We're the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah, we
We're the
are.
fourth largest economy in the world. We're not a small, isolated state. I know they say don't mess with Texas. Well, don't mess with the great Golden State.
And see, that's what I think he does well. Like I said, there's a lot of people, if you're not a rural American that really wishes you were in Idaho, if you're not one of these, farmer types that if we were Texas, if we would be so much better if we were Texas, If you're not one of those people and you live in California, you love California. It is a beautiful state. I love living here, and like I said, I will not live anywhere else. I love this state, and what he does well is he does show appreciation and pride for the state that he lives in, and I like seeing that. I don't think that it gets shown enough.
We're here with our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy on fire, tried to wreck this country, tried to steal an election, as Alex just said, by trying to dial in for 11, almost 12,000 votes. And here we are, an open in plain sight before one vote is cast in the 2026 midterm election. And here he is once again trying to rig the system. He doesn't play by a different set of rules. He doesn't believe in the rules.
Yep, and that's why the left has to be the same way. Like, this is the part that the left is going to struggle with so hard right now. Because the right does such a good job of coming into left-wing spaces and saying, oh, so you guys are going to gerrymander? I thought you guys were against gerrymandering. And it's almost every time that there's like one person that's on the left that's like, well, actually, I'm against it, man. Like, you know, I do agree that we shouldn't be doing this. And, you know, the next thing you know, that person is arguing with other people on the left and they're saying, you know, like, fuck that shit. If they're going to gerrymander, we are. And that person's going, well, you know, I do hear what you're saying, but like, we've got to be the bigger person in the room. And, you know, when they go low, we got to go high. And that doesn't work anymore. At the end of the day, if Texas even talks about it, like, in my opinion, this shouldn't even be a question. I don't think that Gavin Newsom should be sitting up there saying, hey, if Texas does this, we're going to do it. I think that the moment that Texas even thought about it, the moment that somebody said, Texas is about to do this, they're talking about doing it, Gavin Newsom should have said, fuck it then, we're going to do it. Not if you do it, regardless, we're going to do it. Because this like defensive posture, trying to do some type of stopping of what Republicans are going to do by just reacting to the things they're doing is probably not enough. Let's be honest. If they choose to do something and we know we have the upper hand in doing that instead, we shouldn't even be talking about defending that action. We should just be doing it. The state of California, at this point, should gerrymander every single district. And for anybody out there that's left-wing, that's like, well, man, what if we do it and then everybody else... Well, you know what happens if every other state in the union starts gerrymandering? We own the House for the rest of fucking time. That's what happens. Because you can go through all of these areas. They're sparsely populated in these red states. And the places that they are the most populated are in the blue areas. If we're going to have a bunch of people that are only reacting to when the Republicans do stuff, then we are going to constantly be fighting a fight on our back foot. And at one point or another, the left has to go on the offensive. I get it, because the left is always this person, right? The left is always the one saying, we're not going to do something until they do it, and then we'll do it in turn. And sometimes we won't. We'll just point at them and try to shame them. But that shit don't work. Donald Trump, as Gavin Newsom just said, not only does not play by the rules, he doesn't believe in the rules. He doesn't believe that the rules apply to him. If you want to win the midterms, if you want to win the next election, if you want to have elections at all, you're going to have to go on the offensive. You can't just react to what they do. You need to do it to them first.
And as a consequence, we need to disabuse ourselves of the way things have been done. It's not good enough to just hold hands, have a candlelight vigil, and talk about the way the world should be. We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt. And we have got to meet fire with fire. And we've got to be held to a higher level of accountability. So that's what this is about. It's not complicated. We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called a sitting governor of the state of Texas and said, find me 5 seats. We're doing it in reaction.
Yeah, don't forget about the time he called Georgia and asked for 11,700 votes. Like I said, the one thing I have about this is that we're acting like any of this behavior is new. Like I said, I don't mind reactive defense. But at one point or another, you have to go on the offense. You have to predict what Trump is going to do, and you need to beat him to the punch. Because if we don't, at one point or another, you're going to have somebody in one of these blue states that's afraid to do something. You know, you had Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan attempt to do that, hey, we're going to just, work with Trump and try to, help keep things within the boundaries, keep guardrails on it. And I think by working with him, I can make it happen. Even Bernie Sanders said that. Bernie Sanders said, if Trump and Elon Musk want to, keep down credit card rates, then I'm going to work with them on it. They're not going to do any of these things. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. It's just to keep you from doing something offensively. They want you to be reactive. They don't want you on the offense. And at one point or another, we're going to have to go on the offense. That's what has to happen.
To that act. We're doing it mindful of our higher angels and better angels. We're doing it mindful that we want to model better behavior, as we've been doing for 15 years in the state of California with our independent redistricting commission. But we cannot unilaterally disarm. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear.
I like that.
We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country, not just in Texas, but in Missouri, where J.D. Vance went just a week ago, in Indiana, in places like Ohio, in places like Florida. We need to stand up, not just California. Other blue states need
100%.
to stand up. We need to be firm in our resolve. We need to put back. So we're here in that light. And I'm grateful to have remarkable partners in the legislature. It's a tall task. We're asking them for 2/3 of a legislative consent. But this is the difference. This is the difference between what's happening in Texas and what's happening here in California.
And see, like I said, that's the death of the Democrats right there. It's great. I think it's very honorable to go about it in this manner. But you're setting yourself up for failure. If you are not 100% certain that you are going to get those numbers, you are handing Donald Trump the House again in 2026. Because at this point, if Gavin Newsom goes about this in the way that he wants to, and he does not get the votes that he needs, he cannot just enact this. If the people in California say no, and Newsom goes for it, then you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be, rightfully so, pissed the fuck off because you said, hey, do you guys want to do this? We said no, and then you did it anyways. The left will never learn. They will never learn that Donald Trump, he literally just said it, doesn't believe in rules. Look, I was there a year ago when people would say, do you think we should expand the Supreme Court? I would say no. I go, no, that's a bad idea. Well, why is it a bad idea? Because if we expand the Supreme Court, then Trump comes in, Trump expands the Supreme Court, or whatever Republican gets in next goes in and expands the Supreme Court, and it's this endless, cycle. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump just expands the Supreme Court, even with the fucking already having a 6-3. If I'll say this to you right now, and you can fucking bookmark this. If Kavanaugh and Conant do what they have been doing for the last 6 months, and occasionally going outside of the guardrails that Donald Trump wants them to stay within, and vote with Democrats against some of the things that Trump wants, he'll expand the Supreme Court. Because he will put people there like Bove. This is the whole reason that Emil Bove was just made a federal judge for life. Because it is one step away from being a Supreme Court judge. They're hoping that Clarence Thomas or Alito retires so that way they can replace them with that fucking crazy ass fucking person. You're not going to find a time in the near future where Donald Trump just goes, you know what? This time I'm going to play by the rules. You know, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's play by the rules. Things like the Epstein files are the perfect example. If you ask Donald Trump to do something that he can do within the rules, he will look you dead in the fucking eyes and go, I don't know anything about that. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. He doesn't play by the rules. And Democrats cannot continue to fight a fight like this. It's like playing defensively, thinking you're Mayweather, but you're getting socked in the mouth over and over again. Your Philly shell is not mitigating damage. You're getting beat the fuck up, and the whole time you're going, no, I've got a good plan. I'm defending. He's going to get tired at some point. Let me just go ahead and say this. Donald Trump does not get tired of authoritarianism. Donald Trump can do dictatorship every single fucking day for the next 4 years. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not deal with that.
We didn't receive a phone call from the President of the United States to then quietly go in the back room and start drawing maps and legislatively try to jam them through against the consent of the people. We're doing precisely the opposite. We're working through a very transparent, temporary, and public process.
I think that's a trap.
We're putting the maps on the ballot, and we're giving the power to the people. This will be the first redistricting that's ever done that. That's the difference. We tried to raise the standards, and these guys...
Look, there's that video. There's that video of that fucking, I don't know, was he a Muslim guy? Like Saudi Arabian guy? The older gentleman with a gigantic gray beard, and he's like, you know, democracy is for the people. But the problem is the people, they are retarded. And I was like, that's what I think of when he says that. Brother, we just got Donald Trump by listening to those people. I don't know that I'm counting on these motherfuckers. Look there, I was just having this conversation with this guy earlier today. And we were talking about the future of just the country, not government, like generational. Young people. And I was saying, you know, hey man, I know it's easy to get like, you know, angry and look at, you know, generations of people and say, I don't like the things that they do, that things are degenerating, things are getting worse, but there's a lot of good to be had. And I want to be hopeful that the good will outweigh the bad. And I am totally okay to do that. Just not in these scenarios. In these scenarios, I have zero faith in humanity. I've talked to some of these people face to face. You're not going to reach these people by being like, yo, like, I know that you would normally vote with Trump when it comes to this, but check it out, I'm giving you a chance to do the right thing. They're like, Trump. Fucking, you're like, no, don't push that button. Trump. Fucking, that's what they're gonna do.
Are not playing.
Oh, thanks for the dollar, Dean.
Of rules.
Thank you for the dollar.
So this
dollar a day keeps
time
the fascists
requires
away.
us to act anew, not just think anew. And so I'm grateful to all of the remarkable leaders that have stepped up this unifying effort here in the state of California. And we'll be asking for the people on November 4th, a special election coinciding with a lot of local municipal elections, to provide a temporary pathway for congressional maps. We will affirm our commitment to the state independent redistricting after the 2030 census, but we're asking the voters for their consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030 for the congressional maps, to respond to what's happening in Texas, to respond what Trump is trying to excite. And we'll do so in a way that also affirms our desire as a state to level the playing field all across the United States. We believe in a national independent redistricting framework. And we believe that's the right goal and the right thing to pursue. And I will just state for the fact Zoe Lofgren, who runs our California delegation, she authored the bill. Democrats unanimously supported that National Independent Redistricting Commission. Republicans were nowhere to be found. They want to
Because they're all going to lose their jobs. They know.
these elections,
Kevin Kiley's ass is gone. Doug LaMalfa's ass is gone.
and they want the power that gerrymandering provides because they know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms. He knows de facto his presidency ends in 17 months when Speaker Jeffries is back in office. He knows it. Why else? Why else would you try to rig the system? Why else would you make the phone call? He's a failed president. Who else sends ICE same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength.
100%. Double speak.
The most unpopular president in modern history. An economy that's collapsing all around him. You saw the new wholesale prices going up almost a full percentage point today. Inflation is going up.
Yep. PPI, guys. This is what drives me nuts. Like, I recognize that due to my job, I spend more time looking at disinformation than most people do. But I cannot stress enough that if you don't understand what the consumer price index is, if you don't understand what core inflation is, if you don't understand what the PPI is, if you don't know what these things are, you should make yourself aware of them. They're very important. And fuck, I say that, and as soon as I think about it, I'm like, well, if they are for now, 3 months from now, all this shit that I'm saying right now absolutely isn't actually going to mean anything because Donald Trump is cooking the books, dog. The PPI right now is fucking out of control. It's up another percentage point. Like, prices are going up. I literally just got into a conversation with a brokerage where a broker had let me know that a product was going to be available in a warehouse. And the reason that this product was unavailable was because they were repackaging. So when he sent me the sheet for it, I looked at it and I said, cool, more shrinkflation, ouch. And he sent me back, no, man, they're reducing their price. And I was like, I'm not that dumb, okay? I know I'm from the trailer park. I'm not that dumb. And I went back in my price history because we can go all the way back, right? So I went back pre-COVID. I pulled out the 6.5 ounce box. I showed that it was 56 cents an ounce. I then showed their last repackaging, which took it down to 5 ounces per package. That was just towards the tail end of COVID, I'd say 23. And I showed that it was 60 cents or 66 cents an ounce. And then I pulled the package that he showed, which was now 4 ounces. 4 ounces. That is now 77 cents an ounce. That is not lowering your prices. Not to mention that now a business, I work for a mid-sized business, is now losing 51 cents a profit per unit that is sold. I was just looking on my shelf today, and I thought, oh, that looks weird. That box looks different than that box. And then I looked at another one, and I said, wow, that box looks different. There are literally 3 different boxes that have all been shrinkflated that stayed the same price. You need to be up to date. There's a Reddit you can go and look at. There's a Reddit for shrinkflation to see what I'm talking about. There are many different ways that these corporations shrinkflate, and they do them in very devious manners. If you buy a box of Pop-Tarts, and when you first started buying Pop-Tarts, that fucking Pop-Tart had frosting all the way to the edges. I guarantee you now, if you go buy that same Pop-Tart, when you buy it, it only has frosting in the middle. This is the way that big corporations continue to make profit and then not reinvest those profits back into the product or the people that are making them, but into their shareholders. Just today, I saw that stock buybacks this year will hit over $1.5 trillion. We watched a More Perfect Union video, I believe, on this channel right here, where we just talked about a month ago, that during Donald Trump's first tax cut, that it enabled billions of dollars of stock buybacks. That money goes into shareholders' pockets. That does not go back into the investing in the business. It doesn't go into increasing wages for the workers. It goes back to shareholders. And this time they are going to make trillions of dollars off of it. Please, when he says this about the economy is struggling, please go look at PPI for today. Please go look at it.
Job creation is going down. He's trying to rewrite history, Smithsonian, censoring historical facts. And in the spirit of what Adam Schiff said, he's trying to put America in reverse on voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what this is all about. It's about power. And I want to end on this. And we are about to give power back to the people.
Don't forget that bonus program, Fatty.
You have, on November 4th in California, you have the power to stand up to Trump. You have the power to declare that you support a system that is not rigged. You have the power on November 4th to stand up for people that are being bullied. You have the power to stand up for people that are being intimidated. You have the power to stand up to the rule of law. We're giving the people of this state the power to save democracy, not just in California, but all across the United States of America. I hope we are waking up to this reality. Wake up, America. Wake up to what Donald Trump is doing. Wake up to his assaults. Wake up to the assault on institutions and knowledge and history. Wake up to his war on science and public health. In his war against the American people. This is a guy who lays claim to want to get a Nobel Prize, sitting there and bending his knee to Mr. Putin.
The people laughing.
You have the power to straighten this out. And so I want to again just thank everybody for exercising not just their formal authority, yes, that's what we're doing, but also sharing their moral authority at this moment. I want to thank everybody for being here today, for being here tomorrow, and most importantly, we're counting on all of you on November 4th to be there for each other, to win this election and stand up for our democracy. Thank you all very, very much.
Well, I mean, I hope, right? I do hope. I do hope that Americans, specifically Californians, show up at the polls and vote for redistricting. But in my opinion, it's a trap. I don't think that this is the way that he should be going about it. This is not the way Texas would have went about it. And at this point, there literally is no rules, but at the least you could play this game by their rules. Let's see. So I got a couple other videos. How much time do I got left? And don't forget, guys, Visora is coming on after me, so I want you guys to watch that. Let's watch this one talking about D.C. I actually want to try and also, before we go, I want to play a speech that I edited a video for from Joe Biden. And I want to play that speech before we go tonight. So I'm going to get it queued up. And I hope we have enough time. I hope I remember to make sure there's enough time. And maybe we'll end the stream with that when we get to that point in about 45 minutes. But I'd like to play it because I want to remind you guys what speeches used to be like. What used to get people worked up. What used to be hype, you know? And just give you guys a chance to remember what an America that Donald Trump claims, you know, was garbage, was terrible, looked like before Donald Trump absolutely destroyed the fucking country. All right, so what we got here is NPR. For as long as I was like, we better watch some NPR videos before NPR goes away. One of our local community radio station is probably going to buckle under the lack of funding from the government now. So super dope. NPR is now, going to be defunded. PBS defunded. So I wanted to watch this video. This is a video actually about the checkpoints in D.C. as law enforcement takeover ramps up. And this is what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. And people are standing up to this, by the way. I saw videos of people, flipping off the cops, screaming at the cops, letting them know how they feel. So, who knows how long it's going to go until those type of protests aren't effective anymore and things escalate. But for now, that's what's going on. So I wanted to watch this video with you guys and check out this NPR video on what's going on in D.C. right now.
President Trump says he plans to seek approval to extend federal oversight of Washington, D.C.'s police force. And a federal appeals court has ruled the White House can continue to withhold billions of dollars in foreign aid. Good morning. I'm Kristen Wright from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Trump's federal control over law enforcement in Washington, D.C. is ramping.
What are we doing? And we're going to put that in how many cities? We're going to put that in Los Angeles. We're going to put that in Chicago. We're going to put that in New York. This is dystopian shit. You can't make this up. You do not. When you say that you're going to put federal troops, when you say you're going to put police officers, when you say that you're going to, put the National Guard in Los Angeles, what they actually mean is that they're going to patrol, places that already don't have crime. Look, the DuPont Circle, where fucking Pickleball's got his ass beat, and that's what happened. He got his ass beat. It wasn't a carjacking. You don't get your ass beat and then get to keep your car if it's a carjacking. If you're in a carjacking and someone beats the shit out of you, they take your car. That's the goal of carjacking you. They don't just walk away from that shit and just leave you chilling. But where he was at, DuPont Circle, median average salary for an individual in DuPont Circle, $120,000 per individual. These checkpoints are literally to say, poor people don't come here. Brown people don't come here. And if you look, there are black people that are part of this. Police officers, National Guard, we've seen it with ICE agents, obviously Latino people. At one point or another, the American people have to say enough is enough and just say, I'm not going to do this to my fellow citizens. It's going to take the efforts of everybody. You cannot just go along with what Donald Trump wants you to do as a National Guard soldier or as an FBI agent or as a police officer. At one point or another, you got to decide where that line in the sand is and say, morally, I can't stand for this. I'm not going to do this to people.
Up. The White House says federal agents and the National Guard will be on the streets 24/7. Federal agents and local D.C. police officers stopped vehicles at checkpoints last night. Protesters shouted and warned drivers not to go down the street. Residents have varying perspectives on crime in the city, but many feel this is not the right approach. Ava Shen put it this way.
Based on other things that he has done, it's just a string of decisions that will ultimately expand presidential power at the expense of other branches.
It's just limit testing. It's limit testing. Because eventually what you're going to see is these people patrolling the streets of cities across the country in an attempt to make people afraid. He's limit testing. He wants to see what's going to happen in these cities if police officers are going to capitulate, if National Guard is going to capitulate, if soldiers are going to capitulate. Because when it comes time in 2026 for those midterms, and he goes, holy fuck, California did it, they redistricted, now they have a chance to totally take the House, we're losing the Senate, you know what he's going to do. There's absolutely no fucking way Donald Trump is going to just sit on his hands and go, well, it looks like they got the House and the Senate now. He's not going to allow that. He's going to put these officers to work He's going to do what every dictator has ever done. And that is he's going to say, well, looks like martial law. I have to do it. People are beating up pickleballs. And I just wanted to say this, what Shade Dragon just said. I don't think Big Balls was attacked at all. I think it was staged. There was no footage. And in D.C., there's cameras everywhere. Trump just wants another Dubai. That's literally what I was saying just last night on stream. I don't believe, as a person that comes from the fucking hood, a person that has been around people that carjack people, a person that has been around real fucking gang members, I can tell you that shit, it's sus. And just the fact that they reacted as quickly as they did, you telling me fucking pickleballs there was like, oh, well, I should send this directly to Trump so that way he knows. And then Trump immediately was like, we got to get the feds out there. It is one of two things, in my opinion. Either pickleballs mouthed the fuck off and got his ass whooped, and now they're using it for white fright, or that shit didn't happen at all, and they are using it for white fright. But the outcome is the same. I'm calling bullshit on that big balls bullshit.
Government. I just don't think deploying the National Guard is the solution to whatever they're claiming.
President Trump says the goal is to fight crime in the capital city.
I'm going to be honest, Etch, that would probably be the funniest one. That shit would crack me up. If Donald Trump paid some kids to just beat the shit out, he's like, I hate that kid anyways. Fucking pickleballs pisses me off. Hey, you. You want to make a quick $5? That kid can't fight. I can tell you he can't fight. Take a look at that kid. That's fucking hilarious, Etch.
Resident Alicia Cooper says she feels more safe now.
The positive is a sense of security. Residents, at the end of the day, they can feel secure that they know that there is a higher level of chain command that is monitoring, what's going on.
D.C. city leaders point out that local and federal data show violent crime in the district has fallen to a 30-year low.
Yes.
Trump says he's going to try to extend federal oversight long term. President Trump says he will host this year's Kennedy Center Honors Award show in December. He named himself chairman of the board of trustees in February and replaced its members.
Bro, the fact that people are like even questioning whether or not this motherfucker is an authoritarian dictator, like he's naming himself to every fucking post, that's even kind of cool. Like this is some shit a 12-year-old does. I'm not fucking joking. This is shit that a 12-year-old does, dude. Like, you're just like, I don't know why no other president has done this. Why hasn't anybody else done it? I don't know, dog. Maybe because they didn't want to be seen as if they were fucking 12. Maybe they thought being professional was something that was important to being the president of the United States of America. I'm going to make myself, I'll be throwing out the first pitch of the World Series. Like, the fucking commissioner for baseball is going to be like, whoa, when did that happen? I made it happen. I'm going to have the Secret Service detain everybody here while I throw out the first pitch. He's like, and now I'm also the person handing over he's going to steal the fucking Super Bowl trophy, isn't he? He's going to steal the fucking Super Bowl trophy. My Eagles are going back-to-back this year, and this motherfucker is going to steal the trophy, isn't he? God damn it. This is the dumbest fucking timeline.
NPR's Elizabeth Blair says the president is defending his decision to play an active role in the Performing Arts Center during his second term.
Yeah, that is true. That's what they said.
Over the years, the Kennedy Center has tried to keep politics out of its programming and the honors event. That's one of the reasons there was traditionally a bipartisan board. Trump did not attend the honors during his first presidential term.
Oh, they look like some underage ladies right there.
At the press conference, this is what he said about getting so involved this year.
I shouldn't make this political because they made the Academy Awards political and they went down the tubes. So they'll say Trump made it political, but I think if we make it our kind of political, we'll go up.
The honorees are singer Gloria Gaynor, country artist George Strait, actor Sylvester Stallone, Broadway actor and singer Michael Crawford, and the rock band Kiss. California Governor Gavin Newsom is holding a press conference today to announce his plan to counter Republican efforts in Texas to draw new congressional maps in an attempt to gain more U.S. House seats. Newsom says President Trump is trying to rig Texas districts. Newsom has plans to call a special election for a House map ballot measure. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling a new
motherfucking Governor Hot Wheels. What is up with his face? Why does he look like he is made out of Play-Doh? What? These people are not human. They're not human.
Session. The Texas
that is a lizard if I have ever seen one.
Newsroom's Blaise Gainey reports the agenda still includes
if he was a lizard, he would have grew back his legs. My bad.
Drawing the state's congressional map.
House Democrats remain out of state to block the redistricting bill, which could add 5 more Republican seats to Congress. Speaking in Chicago, House Democratic Caucus Chair Representative Gene Wu of Houston said they expect new maps would eventually become law, but wanted to be sure that other Democratic-led states were ready to fight back.
Texas is determined to do this. If other red states are determined to do this, then we will have other states who will make sure that it does not matter what they do.
It just needs to happen. Like I said, fuck all this shit, man. Fuck defending against the action. Go on offense, redistrict these maps, take back the fucking House, and impeach Donald Trump. 100%. No more of this shit. Yeah, an unarmed carjacking. That's what I was saying. No, bro. No, it's not. It's not. Gang members, look, I'm not saying that we had like a bunch of highly educated gang members where I come from. I'm just saying apparently they're smarter than the ones that fucking were down there beating up big balls.
That we will nullify their actions.
Several Democratic-led states across the country have said that they too will redraw their congressional maps. For NPR News, I'm Blaise Gainey.
President Trump was handed a legal victory when a federal court of appeals ruled that the administration can
exactly, Mervin. We need the Senate too. 60 seats in the Senate as well.
Spend billions of dollars that Congress had earmarked for foreign aid spending. And
sheet poster. They didn't send those ICE agents to scare Newsom. They sent them to scare the fucking people. They sent them to scare all of the people that are not white skinned, right? I mean, just call it what the fuck it is, right? Like, I mean, we've pussyfooted around all this shit so much. It's time to just call it what it is, and that is, they were there to make brown people feel scared about supporting Gavin Newsom. It's just that fucking simple. I've been a person that has done this too many fucking times, and I agree that it's time to stop doing it, and that is that I would pussyfoot around these things saying, hey, let's make sure that, like, what we're saying, like, that it is exactly what it is. We don't want to be incorrect. Call it what it is. It ain't that hard anymore. They're just being racist. They just want to keep brown people away from Newsom, and they want brown people scared to come outside.
PR's Fatma Tanis reports.
On his very first day in office in January, President Trump froze all foreign aid spending for programs that tackle disease and poverty overseas. A group of international aid groups that were recipients of foreign aid grants sued the administration. And in March, a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction against the funding freeze, saying,
Dude, this is what I'm saying, Shade Dragon. Unarmed carjacking of an adult man by a pair of unarmed 15-year-olds is like, dude, he's in a car. Drive away. Also, why is his door unlocked while he's driving in D.C.? Why is his shirt off? Like, I'm actually, like I said, I feel like most likely what happened was he mouthed off. He said, oh, they made some joke while approaching me about stealing my car. Like, I could see this happening where somebody said something about that being a nice car and him being like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, thinking he could beat up a couple 15-year-olds, and then he got his ass handed to him. And like the little bitch he was, instead of just taking his ass whooping and walking the fuck away, he got his ass whooped, he called the cops, and he blamed black people. If you've seen the pictures of the 15-year-olds that they claim did it, like, they look like fucking just normal kids. Once again, these people did not grow up around gang members, and it fucking shows. Like when they said Kilmar Garcia was MS-13, he was a gang leader for MS-13, I was like, motherfucker, I grew up around MS-13. That is not what MS-13 looks like. Those are not the tattoos that MS-13 members have. They literally just have MS-13. I'm with you on that one, dude. I'm with you on that one.
That the administration had unlawfully frozen funds that were allocated by Congress. But now that ruling's been overturned. In a 2-1 vote, a panel of judges from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit said the plaintiffs did not have the legal standing to bring a lawsuit. Fatma Tanis.
Jesus Christ. Our judicial system is fucking broken, too.
NPR News.
Pediatricians in Florida are concerned about low immunization rates among
Guys, polio is back. Polio is circulating in like 6 countries right now. We're bringing fucking the iron lung back.
Gardeners. Carrie Sheridan from member station WUSF reports.
The CDC says for highly contagious diseases like measles, 95% of people need to be immunized to prevent outbreaks. Across Florida, only 7 out of 67 counties meet that threshold. Dr. Rana Alyssa leads the Florida chapter of the American...
It's okay, guys. Remember Trump said, just stop reporting the cases and the numbers go down. Dude, you guys think it's bad now. This is what I'm saying. If you think it's bad now, just wait until the new... Bureau of Labor Statistics guy stops reporting the jobs numbers. Just wait until Donald Trump comes out and he goes, inflation is 0. And they're like, oh, can we see the report? I am the report. Inflation is 0. Like, what about the consumer price index? What is that up to nowadays? And he's like, 0. What's PPI doing nowadays? 0. How's the stock market nowadays? 99. Like, you think it's bad now? Like, do you know how much of a mindfuck it's going to be when you are like, shit seems really bad right now. Like, the fucking Walmart's on fire. It seems like things are not going good, and Trump's just in front of a fucking podium being like, everybody's wealthy, inflation doesn't exist, there are no people unemployed, crime doesn't exist. Like, we are about to enter, like, the fucking most weird, surrealist time that has ever fucking existed, guys. This shit is about to get wacky.
Academy of Pediatrics.
It's very scary and worrisome because the worst is coming.
In Sarasota County, rates are among the lowest. Only 79% of incoming kindergartners are up to date on all their shots, according to the state health department.
Dope.
That's about the same level of immunization in areas of Texas where a deadly outbreak of measles killed 2 children earlier this year.
Bringing it back.
For NPR News, I'm Carrie Sheridan in Sarasota.
Harvey Weinstein appeared in court in Manhattan. New York prosecutor.
How long until Weinstein gets a pardon? How long until Weinstein gets a fucking pardon? Let's just watch this last one here, and then we're gonna just call it. This is Alex Jones. Let's see what's going on Alex Jones news.
InfoWars conspiracist Alex Jones may be about to lose control of his media empire. A Texas state court has appointed a new receiver to sell the companies. As NPR's Tovia Smith...
Bet you money Trump steps in. He's done it every single time to this point. I bet you money Donald Trump steps in. Pam Bondi. Because it's not going to be Trump, right? He's going to be like, I don't know. Who's Alex Jones? I've never met him. Never met him. Alex who? Jones, you say? Like Jim Jones? Also, guys, is Alex Jones related to Jim Jones? Somebody should look into that.
Reports proceeds will go to the families who won a $1.3 billion defamation case against Jones. He spread false stories that the Sandy Hook school shooting never happened.
The new receiver.
Dude, remember when that used to be a scandal? That used to be like something we actually gave 2 shits about. Now it's like there's so much crazy shit every day. It's like, oh yeah, that's that dude that said that Sandy Hook was a conspiracy theory. Oh yeah, that's that dude.
Receiver is authorized to take over InfoWars cash, cameras, and the InfoWars brand with sheriffs if needed. After years in federal bankruptcy court, payouts may start in weeks to the families who say they were tormented by Jones's followers who believed his lies that they were just actors. Chris Maddy is one of the family's lawyers.
Alex Jones has had this justice coming for a long time, and through many twists and turns, the families are finally holding Alex Jones accountable for years of harm.
Maddie says the move could also mean the satirical site The Onion will buy InfoWars. Jones's lawyers...
Dude, remember for like 5 minutes when that happened? We were so close to this being fucking amazing. And then just everything fell apart. Everything fell apart.
Did not respond to requests for comment, but Jones claimed on his show that the judge's order appointing the receiver is not legal.
Of course he did.
Smith, NPR News.
Taylor Swift has announced the official release date for her next album. The Life of a Showgirl will drop.
Okay. That's enough NPR news for now. I got sucked into the news cycle there. we got one more video to go. I can't just be sitting here watching the NPR news with you. I'm like an old man. I'm like such an old man. I'm like, ooh, the news is on. Let's just sit here and watch the news together. Maybe they'll do sports next. Hopefully they talk about the weather. Ooh, I like it when they talk about the weather. That's where we're at. Yeah, it's about Taylor's next album. You're right, reference frame. I'm sorry. Whoa, is that Taylor Swift? Whoa, she's a real pretty one, that Taylor Swift. You know, she makes pretty good music. The young kids really like the Taylor Swift. They say she's not cringe. She's not even Ohio. She's not mid. That's fucking... I got sucked into the news cycle. I started fucking lolling off. I almost fell asleep in my chair. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I apologize. All apologies. Shit got Ohio for a second. My kids hate it when I use their slang, so that's why I use that stuff. Have you guys heard young people use the word clinker? Okay? They fucking... The kids are reenacting like every sci-fi movie that was made including robots. Like they are 100% robot racist now. Clinker is a racist term against robots. I walked through the room and one of my children fighting somebody on Fortnite was like, "Did you just die to a clinker?" And I was like, that sounded suspiciously racist. We are in such a weird timeline. Okay, anyways, we've got another video here. We've got one more video before we got to go here. And once again, just talking about what's going on in Washington and just kind of like the depravity, right? Because these people will use any reason to grift off of what they got going on here. And, you know, there is no bar too low. There really isn't. Once we determined that all of these people were happy to defend Donald Trump over the Epstein files, that was the end. Like, there is no low...
So remember, we talked about Benny...
There's no bar lower than that. And, you know, obviously, when we talk about things like, you know, snatching homeless people off the streets to remove them from the sight of rich elites, we're talking golden age shit here. When we're talking about FBI agents, National Guard soldiers going into the streets, what we're talking about is these officers of the law pushing people into urban areas. I mean, it's District 9 shit, right? Like, you don't have to look any further than science fiction to see exactly what most of these people want. I mean, behind me, I have books like 1984, A Brave New World. You know, we have The Handmaid's Tale. It's just... It's mind-numbing that we're watching people sit here and not only watch this happen, but then using it to make a bunch of fucking money off of. Weaponizing hate and anger and then grifting off of it. So, anyways, this is Kyle Kalinske talking a little bit about, I think it's Benny Johnson, grifting off of this.
Johnson recently. Benny Johnson is a MAGA pundit, and he was in a little hot water recently because apparently his YouTube channel was growing at like triple the rate of anybody else on YouTube in politics. But come to find out that at the same time his views were going down. Now, as somebody who's in YouTube, I can tell you without any doubt whatsoever, that's bullshit. that means there's some inauthentic behavior happening there. Either he's buying bots or there's some weird shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can literally show you my subscriber numbers and my view count, and that he's obviously, in my opinion, buying subscribers. I mean, the dude has like 5.5 million subscribers now. He had something like 1.6 million more subscribers than anybody else in a month. Like, those aren't real numbers. Those are Trump numbers. The dude is obviously spending money on subscribers. And to be honest with you, it's kind of stupid. But I guess whatever. You got that tenant media money. You know, you can do what you want with it. Maybe that's what tenant media does. Maybe that was part of the deal. Maybe it was a package deal. Get you some subscribers. You just, shit on Ukraine, sell out your country, things like that. What won't they do for money?
Where, he's making it look like, oh, my channel's growing at a record pace. But that doesn't happen. If your views are staying the same or going down, your subs are not going to hit, record growth where you're doubling or tripling.
It doesn't make any sense to anybody with a fucking fully functioning frontal lobe.
So clearly there was some fuckery going on there, and nobody should be surprised because remember, Benny Johnson is the guy who worked with Tenet Media,
damn right,
that
he did.
company run by Lauren Chen, and they were taking money directly from the Russian government, and so Benny was getting paid through Tenet Media by the Russian government, and he was part of that scandal. Along with Tim Pool, along with Dave Rubin, along with Matt Christensen, I believe, and some others. So this is who this guy is. Now, he's also just fucking boring. Can we just call it what it is? He's fucking boring. He's like,
you gotta buy subscribers
vanilla.
when you're boring.
It's so just standard MAGA garbage, just riding Trump's dick on a daily basis. And remember, this guy's also a funny enough closet case. I remember when he tweeted he tweeted this thing that was like, "Can you believe the ads on this website?" And the ad was like some gay singles cruise thing. And people had to reply to him and be like, dude, those are targeted ads.
Dude called out. He's like, yeah, I have Lindsey Graham's number. For work purposes.
Meaning exactly what you think it means. So here he is. He's talking about Trump taking over D.C., federalizing D.C.
I just want to say this, too, before we get into this, is... we watched that video, I think over on my channel the other day, where Mark Maron was calling out the Joe Rogan sphere of comedians and how boring everything they do is. And I pointed out that I watched the Tim Dillon stand-up at the Mothership, and it was fucking horrific. It was so bad. And I think when he says, Benny is boring, all he does is suck Donald Trump's little orange dick. I think that's what they like, though. I don't think that any of these people have any brain cells left. I don't think they're capable of watching, anything that has any educational value. This isn't what they're into. People like this in Trump's circle want to hear jokes about transgender people. They want to hear the R word used as many times as possible. They want to hear edgy, Mike Barack Obama, or whatever it is, Mike Obama, they call Michelle Obama. That's what makes them laugh. And then when it comes to their commentators, all they want to hear is "Dear leader's doing great." It's a very sad state of affairs.
He's sending in all the federal law enforcement and shit. And of course, he's happy as hell over it because he's a total hack and he believes in nothing. And here's what he ends up saying.
President Trump is doing God's work by refederalizing D.C. By the way, D.C. was set up as a federal city. It's in the Constitution. It's how our founding fathers intended it. These laws are still fully enforceable. They've never been rescinded or amended. President Trump and the executive, through the House of Representatives, controls Washington, D.C. President Trump controls budgets. House of Representatives and Speaker of the House is technically and historically the lead of D.C. That still remains on the books. What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here. The city was burned to the ground.
Of course they were bussed. Of course they were bussed.
During massive riots
Always
throughout the 60s and 70s, mass swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital, but truly the seat of Western civilization. There's one final little note here that kind of blends outside of the personal, which is that Washington, D.C. is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monument.
And we want it to be white again. I'm just
to
going to
great
throw
men
that
and
in
women
there for him.
who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country. It must be preserved because the peoples of Earth.
Dude, Vinnie Johnson hasn't sacrificed shit but connections to Russian media for this country.
Come here by the millions per year in order to witness the success or failures of our systems. And if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth.
I seriously hope Vinnie Johnson gets Ebola in his dick. And also monkeypox in his asshole.
Then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied.
Brother. Holy shit.
Need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested.
Come again? Come again, one more time.
Patriot, and you love this country, and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth. Then
he said the peoples of Earth. Okay, hold on. Vinnie Johnson's definitely a fucking robot, isn't he? He's a clanker.
Washington, D.C. must be swept clean.
Swept clean?
I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed.
Entire neighborhoods need to be emptied and need to be bulldozed. Gee.
Yeah, which neighborhood you guys think he's talking about? You guys think he's talking about DuPont Circle? I don't think he's talking about DuPont Circle, guys.
I wonder who he's talking about when he says, is he talking about the rich white neighborhoods? Do they need to be emptied? Do they need to be bulldozed? Is that what you're talking about? The places with mansions, 6,000 square foot homes, 4,000 square foot homes?
120,000 median average for salary.
It's not hard to figure out what he means. Emptied and bulldozed. He, of course, is talking about the black areas. He's, of course, talking about the low-income areas. Guys, we've said it before, we'll say it again. You ever heard of the imperial boomerang? That's what we're witnessing here.
Yep.
The imperial boomerang is this notion that whatever the empire does abroad to innocent people, it will eventually come back at home. And that's what this is.
Yeah, because it's limit
That's
testing.
exactly what this is. Exactly
seeing
how
what
it's
you can get
happening
away
in
with.
Gaza. Now you got MAGA assholes who are going, let's empty out these neighborhoods and let's bulldoze.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, they're just like looking at it like, actually, why aren't we doing that here? I didn't know we were allowed to do that. Are we allowed to do that? Well, we are not. Brenda! Start the Tesla. Apparently we can do that thing they're doing to the Gaza people. We can do that same thing to people in Compton, Brenda. Get the mayonnaise out. We're going to celebrate tonight. Oh, shit.
It was everything.
God damn it.
That's like what's happening in the West Bank, actually, is a better example. Gaza, it's an outright genocide and an ethnic cleansing. But the West Bank is like mission creep. You have people forcibly kick somebody out of the home, take over the home. This is like... So you want to treat D.C. like the West Bank, is what you're telling me. You want to treat D.C. like the West Bank and kick out all the black people, right? Oh, my God. That's
yeah,
what he
I mean,
wants.
that is
That's
what he's
he wants.
saying.
He's not even hiding it.
Yeah.
This is ethnic cleansing. He's calling for ethnic cleansing.
Need to be
Well, because like I said, it's the same thing with what you're seeing when they're just putting federal officers on the streets in low crime areas. The reason those federal officers are there is to keep the people that they don't want, brown people, black people, out of that area. That's why they're doing it. They're pushing people further and further to the edges of the city. They want them away from the places, and they're going to sell it as like these corporations are doing so much better now. Now you can go to Macy's and you can get your shirt and you don't have a homeless person asking you for change. Like, I'm all for solving the homeless problem. Okay, I'm all for trying to figure out how to, keep litter off the streets. But this is not the way. This is like actual Nazi shit.
Need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down.
Violent crime is down like 30%.
Dude, you're going to have these videos existing. Like, if there's even a chance that America comes back to any sort of sanity, if there's even a chance of America coming back to sanity, like, I've got to say, like, these videos are going to exist after that, and they should be used as evidence in trials for these people. I know that there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, hey, free speech, this or that. I don't believe that these people should be allowed to get away with this type of shit, dude. I think that there should be consequences for this. At the least, These people should be fucking excommunicated from society, and they should get Ebola in their dicks. I'm throwing it out there. Forcibly injected.
It's literally at a historic low right now.
That might actually
historic low. In fact, Trump was bragging in May about how DC crime is at a historic low. Now all of a sudden, it's the worst thing ever. Why? Because he wants to do power for the sake of power, control for the sake of control, fascist takeover for the sake of a fascist takeover.
You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in DC. Well,
that's a fact. That's not an
Yeah, but the numbers don't matter to them. If the numbers are down, then they say they're fake. If the numbers are up, then they're real. And these fucking MAGA supporters can never figure that out. Like when Biden's numbers were changed during his last year in the jobs reports, and they were reduced, they claimed that Biden had hidden the jobs numbers, which would be really dumb on Biden's part, considering that then he would have then released the worst numbers, which doesn't make any sense, right? So they like those numbers, but then when that same exact person, releases numbers in the same manner, saying that they had to because of the lagging indicator of jobs reports, they had to reduce them, they're fake, and it's rigged. These people will never, ever see the hypocrisy in the shit that they do.
Opinion, that's a fact. And he knows that's a fact. He's lying, because that's what he does. He's a paid liar.
My infant nearly died.
I don't believe you.
In a drug fire.
I definitely don't believe you.
After mass shootings.
I definitely. My infant nearly died in a drug fire. After mass shootings. In a crack house. Where 17 gang members showed up with machine guns.
MS-13.
And they shot an RPG at our face. Like, what are you doing, bro? What is this? Bro.
It's
really?
LARPing.
Oh my God.
It's
this
LARPing.
is so embarrassing. He's got this whole spiel. Look, I'm in Washington, D.C. half the time. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Look, I'm from New York. I know it. New York, certainly when I was growing up, there was definitely more crime at that time, right? You guys know in the 90s, crime was up across the board in the 90s, and there's
and the thing is that you don't stop crime by doing what they're doing. You stop crime by incentivizing good behaviors. I know this because of where I come from. You stop crime by incentivizing people, by giving them enough to not make it not worthwhile to commit crimes. You know, when you see these federal agents on the street and they're pushing these people out of the nicer neighborhoods, what you're actually doing is you're just pushing more crime into already bad areas, right? People that are already being taken advantage of, people that are already hopeless. And what you're doing there is you're just creating more crime. But now all you have to say is, but look at how clean downtown is. Like, there's no crime here, guys. Crime doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It's out of sight, out of mind. And like I said, what's that movie? District 9 or whatever it is? It's like any of these movies that you go back and look at, sci-fi movies. It's the same idea. It's push all the poor people down into the fucking ghettos, into the projects, and leave them there where they're out of sight, out of mind, so that way the true elites can have their golden age balls. I mean, this literally happened in real life during the golden age. The man keeps using the words the golden age, and no one goes back and looks at what the golden age was. Middle class people weren't fucking living off the lamb, like feeling great. No, middle class people lived one of the most unstable lives that you possibly could. There were like moments where people were like, you know what? Housing is actually down, which, by the way, housing is dropping right now. Housing is down. I can buy a house. Then they buy a house and they'd lose it a year later, 2 years later, because they'd lose their job or whatever stocks they had would fucking tank. Like, the man is saying to your face, this is going to be the golden age, and you're like, dope. And it's like, no, George Carlin said this shit. It's a big fucking club, and you ain't in it. You ain't in it. Before I go, I wanted to just, like I said, I wanted to play this because I want to show to you guys something that was kind of lost in Biden's last little bit. Obviously, his decline was happening, and the debate was horrific. But I made this video because I really liked this speech from Joe Biden, and it was actually, in my opinion, I was like, wow, that embodies what America was alleged to be. So I want you guys to check this out, and then we're going to call it, and I want you guys to hang out and check out Visora. And she has a very dope show, and it's going to be very much fun. Much more fun than this Angry Ginger, okay? So this is a video I did. I did the editing and such, and obviously the music and everything I just added in. So I did not play the music, guys, just so you know. Okay. Very sad, that beginning message.
No one ever doubts I mean what I say. It's just that sometimes I say all that I mean. But folks, let me tell you what I literally tell every world leader I met with, and I've met them all. It's never, never, never been a good bet to bet against America. We have the finest fighting force in the world. Not only Not only do we have the largest economy in the world, we have the strongest economy in the world. We have the most productive workers in the world. And given a fair shot, given a fair chance, Americans have never, ever, ever, ever let their country down. Never. Never. Ordinary people like us who do extraordinary things. We've had candidates before who attempted to get elected by appealing to our fears, but they've never succeeded because we do not scare easily. We never bow. We never bend. We never break when confronted with crisis. No, we endure. We overcome, and we always, always, always move forward. That's why I can say with absolute conviction, I am more optimistic about our chances today than when I was elected as a 29-year-old kid to the Senate. The 21st century is going to be the American century. Because we lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. That is the history of the journey of America. We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. USA, 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 USA.
Like I said, that's what Trump wishes he was. That's what Trump wishes he was. And what he is the exact opposite. He's there is no person that I can think of that is further from that message than Donald Trump. All right, guys. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys all being here. Visora is next. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Also, if you're in California, obviously, please, for the love of all that is holy, unholy, whatever the fuck, please get out and vote when it comes time to vote for the redistricting of California. If this is Gavin Newsom's plan, I feel like it's a trap. I feel like if it fails, it's going to be horrific. But we need to redistrict. We need to take the offensive, and we need to stop playing defensive ball. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Up next is Visora.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening. How are you all doing today? Fantastic stream, The Angry Ginger. Genuinely, your stream is always fantastic. I love coming in early and checking it out because I don't often get to watch other streamers much. So, 10 out of 10, as always. And I can't believe you haven't heard the term clanker until quite recently. You're definitely going to hear it today. I'll tell you that much. So, last time we talked quite a bit. Oh, the audio's low? Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. My setup got a little mixed up today because of a Windows update. So, just put it there. What's up, everybody? Hold on, let me see. I don't know why my audio's still low. Oh, because it's through here. Thank you. Got it. That should be better. So, last time we talked quite a bit about surveillance capitalism. We talked about the human farming operation that is social media that we are all stuck living in. And granted, we have a lot happening in the US right now. I mean, obviously, the actual proper fascism is here, but this all still very much relates to it. So we're going to focus, again, on the same topic, but a bit more in depth this time. I spent quite a bit hopping back